Thank you. Well, Jane, thank you for those that very nice introduction. It's always nice to have somebody say wonderful things about the place you work, and I'm very fortunate that I work in a wonderful place. You know, when this honor was really articulated that they were going to be bestowing it upon participant media, I was very, very excited. Very excited for personal reasons and for professional reasons, which I'll touch on in a minute. And also, when I saw the lineup, I was really excited because actually I had a long speech. I'm not going to read that, so I'm going rogue, if you don't mind. I took a couple observations that I just would rather just pull from, and so I just wrote a couple scratches next to some of the people who were talking a little bit because I thought it was interesting sitting here. It's much more interesting for me observationally, and you've heard such a wonderfully articulate commentary so far, and you're going to hear some amazing things. But what was great about the program when I heard about it, especially, entertainment business, right off the bat, you must look at where you sit in the program. Seating is everywhere, right? What booth you have in the restaurant. And I was thrilled because if you look at the way this crescendos up, you start with, I'm sandwiched in between Martin Luther King III, right, and the Honorable Henry Kissinger. So you have both those people. It's thrilling for me. So I was blown away. But the nice thing is when you see, really, George's extraordinary comments, and I was blown away by his personal story, the conversation, and I thought to myself, I'm really in trouble. That's when the speech got thrown out because he's supposed to be the veteran bureaucrat that was going to bore you with a 30-minute diatribe about policy in some specific area of the Middle East of which you had already read, and he was going to show you how smart he was. And instead, what you got was this extraordinary personal commentary on the human experience. It was storytelling at its finest, in my opinion. So congratulations, George. And I also did want to say thank you to Gene. He scares the hell out of me. I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen an event with 1,000 people start like it started this one. I started as a teacher, actually, in South Central Los Angeles. I was a music teacher and went up and became the youngest principal in the history of the LA Unified School District. So my background originally was education before going on to run the Grammys and Hard Rock Cafe and to help all the companies before participant. And it was amazing because Gene was like that great PE teacher that could just get 2,000 people in order right off the bat. And he's done an amazing job, really, in keeping this event going. This will actually end on time. Really superb job to our Master of Ceremonies. So congratulations to Gene. And the other person I wanted to mention, just the other observational comment is, the evening was basically over after Naya performed. Because to me, whether it's George or Martin, it doesn't matter, right? We're all screwed, right? At that point, she was just absolutely extraordinary. She was amazing, and she's the reason why everybody does what they do. Because when you see that and you hear that, and I don't know if any of you noticed it up in on the screen as she was coming up on stage. Did you notice what it said next to her name? It said violinist and. Did anybody else notice what was next to her name? It was student council president. And I thought to myself, how cool is that at that age, think about what's on your business card. That's what's in that, that's the type of people that we want in public service. Those are the types of people that are doing the type of stuff that she's doing. And she's just extraordinary. So my evening was really complete. This event is really quite important to me on a personal level. And it's important to me because I actually helped complete the joke of, the Christian, the Jew, and the Muslim. So I'm part of that. So I can help to do the joke that somebody will do at some point this evening. But my pathway here is kind of unique. I've actually been in the Middle East pretty close to 50 times. And the introduction really came around my time at Hard Rock Cafe. When I took over as CEO of Hard Rock Cafe, it was during a time of rapid expansion. And we opened up the cafes in Sharm el-Sheikh and Amman and Dubai and Bahrain and we ended up opening 11 of these cafes. And with that, I got a really interesting introduction on a business side and a sense of a region of the world which I had not been introduced to. And I became aware of things that I had not really been aware of before. I developed sensitivities that I was not exposed to in the past. And I hear about an organization like this, which I've followed for some time, and I realize that it's not an organization to push a certain group or certain people or a certain agenda. It's really a civil rights organization. It's an organization that's really vested in being a human being with dignity, with being somebody who can be proud of who they are, with being somebody who can be respected. When you really go back to the origins, about people being able to identify their background, to go up and talk about their history, their culture, their religious beliefs in a non-judgmental way and not be worried about being threatened by it, that's really extraordinary to me. That's a civil rights organization to me. That's somebody protecting the rights. That's why this is an important organization. So for participant, this truly is a great honor. I mean, the company started 10 years ago by a gentleman by the name of Jeff Skoll. And Jeff was a philanthropist, social entrepreneur. He was the first president of eBay. And he was very, very lucky. And very, very smart. And very, very fortunate. In a short period of time at eBay, he, along with the founder, Pierre Midyar, built a company up, and he left. And he left with billions of dollars. And he decided at that point that he was going to spend the rest of his life making the world a better place. And it might sound corny to some people, and in Hollywood, some of the people said, best way to become a millionaire in movies is start with $1 billion and invest in movies. That's how you become a millionaire. He persevered, and he decided that it was storytelling that was going to bridge gaps. It was storytelling that was going to humanize. It was those individual stories that take facts and figures and turn them into a human condition. And I think that that thesis, which a lot of people kind of folded their arms at and said, I don't really know that that's going to work. After 10 years and 55 films, I think they've really come to see that you can tell powerful stories about important topics by reducing them to human interest stories, talking about the individual experience. So at its heart, we're talking about storytelling well told. And that's really at the heart of what we're trying to do at Participants. So the films that you saw in this particular montage, just a fraction of the ones that we've done, are really focused on a particular area which we think is an underreported area of storytelling. And that's the stories of people from a certain region or background of the world, which happens to be the Middle East. It's of an amazingly vibrant, extraordinarily beautiful, rich culture and geography that isn't really articulated properly in the media. And we think if we can show people what that experience is like, if we can break down these issues to personal stories, we have the ability for people to drop their guard, for people to really look at somebody else as a human being, not as somebody in opposition. So for us, this type of recognition, more than Academy Awards or anything else, from an organization like this that vests itself in that same human storytelling, that humanizing of a group of people, is the most important type of recognition we can get. So on behalf of Jeff Skoll, everybody a participant, and for everything that you're doing, we're so thrilled. We just want to say, although you're giving the honor to us, we just want to say thank you to all of you for the work that you do. We're humbled by it. We're thrilled by the recognition, and we will, by your side, continue to soldier on. Thank you very much.
One more time for a vote. Yeah, it's good. Thanks, man. All right, okay.